You seen it. You seen it. Newark, New Jersey, your very own Andre Davis is here at the round table today at 3:38 in the evening, Saturday, August the 27th, 28th. What date is this? The 27th it is. When we come back off of the intro, ladies and gentlemen, I will be sitting down talking with one of the worldwide known prolific stage plays writers, actor, director, producer, singer, performer. I'm sure he's a wonderful son, a brother, a cousin, a best friend, the one and only Andre Davis from Newark, New Jersey. I'll be sitting here talking to him when we come back. Y'all buckle up. This is going to be good.
You are now tuned into Urban Voice Media.
All right, Mr. Davis, how you doing, sir?
I'm great. How are you?
Man, I'm doing great, doing great. It's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Saturday. Now, where are you at right now? You in New York or you in Jersey?
I'm in Jersey.
All right, all right. Now, are you sitting in the lab working on some stuff or it's break time?
It's break time today. Like, I'm working tonight, so, after this interview, I'll take a quick nap, and then I'm out singing tonight.
Oh, man. And ladies and gentlemen, he said singing. Now, he's the CEO of A Diamond Entertainment. And for those down south who've never heard of A Diamond Entertainment, like, y'all just need to go to his webpage right now, and we're going to throw it up on the screen. Here it is right here. Go there. Just browse. Don't go listen to no music and all that while we doing what we doing. Just go there. Y'all come back here. Just go there and just look at, film through some of the stuff. But ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Davis is a writer, a director, a producer, an actor, a singer. How do you handle all that?
God.
You can't put it all on his shoulders now. He got other work to do now. Come on now. Spill the beans.
That's the secret sauce right there, man. Honestly, man, I'm super blessed. God has blessed me to be able to do all of those things and do them well. Like, I don't take it lightly. I'm grateful for it. Like I always say, I work hard at it to get better at the craft in each one of those things, but it's a gift, man, and the gift is given from above. So I just thank God.
Take me back 15 years. You stated in a March the 4th letter, you stated that you said you've been singing for over 15 years and it says your singing and acting experience goes back 15 years. Take me back to year number one.
Yeah, so honestly, I was dating this girl at the church, and she was in a stage play, and they were looking for a guy who could sing. So I had an interest in acting and singing when I was younger, and then I kind of let it, go to the backside. But when she told me about it, I said, all right, I'll go out, try out for it. So I tried out for it, got the part. And from there, man, like a couple of directors saw me in that play and cast me in their productions, and I just got the bug, and I've just been going at it ever since. So it all started for me dating the girl in the church and just saying, well, I'll try it.
And fell in love with. Well, did you fall in love with the girl too?
I did not. That would have been a better story, but no, it didn't happen that way.
Right. Now, Andre, throughout your career, you've been out there with Patti LaBelle, Boyz II Men, Musiq Soulchild, Anthony Hamilton, from Charlotte very own, Frankie Beverly and Mays, Jaheim. Some of the guys I'm looking to do some work with myself. Even been on the Wendy Williams show. What was it about being around people on that level of entertainment? What did that mean to you when you got the chance to sit beside them, stand beside them, and rub elbows?
Oh man, it meant everything for me because I was super young. Not only super young, super inexperienced. And I say this all the time. It was a very weird time for me because on one hand, I'm super happy that I'm getting to work with, people that are legends in the business, people that I listen to their music, and admire them. And then on the other hand, I felt, and if I'm being honest, inadequate. Like I didn't feel like I was ready to be on these stages with this caliber of talent. So it was a great time, um, and it was weird at the same time, if that makes any sense.
But what specifically did you learn from either of the artists that you was on stage with?
Oh man, it was and shout out to my coach, Vivian Reed. She really put it in me to watch each and every artist that I opened up for. And she said, you're going to see some things that are great. So some of the rapport that they had with the audience was great, that the stage presence. And then honestly, on the other end, you saw some things that didn't really work. And so for me, I was able to learn on the job. You know what I mean? Like I'm literally learning all of these things on the job, getting paid for it, but still in class, if that makes sense. So yeah, man, it was just everything from the performances, the like I said, the way that not just that they interacted with the crowd, but even off stage, how they interacted with fans, and as someone coming up, you're watching everything. So I'm watching everything. I'm watching every aspect of their show, and it helped me in building my performances.
Now, do you play an instrument as well?
I don't. So I've been saying I'm going to learn the piano for the last 10 years, and it hasn't happened. But I haven't given up. I'm going to learn the piano.
Awesome, awesome. Pick it up, man. Pick it up. Because you know what? I sit down a lot of times. Me and my wife we'll listen to music, and I'm a DJ, so I listen to all types of music, and I play the piano. And I tell her one thing that's missing in the black community right now is musicians who are actually performers.
Right.
We rely on everything to be electronic when we go into the studio, but when you go to stage, it's rare that you'll see very many artists who actually can play some sort of instrument.
Yeah.
And when Alicia Keys and uh, who else is Alicia the only one that plays now?
Oh, you have John Legend. Uh,
John, yeah. Now, when they decide to hang their robe up, who do we have? And that's something I really would wish that would come back into our community, because if you go back to the early '80s, '70s, '60s on back, just about everybody who sung played an instrument, including James Brown. So yeah. Don't give up hope on that piano, man. If it's just ding ding dang dang, hey, one day it's gonna come out sounding like this right here. Which one is it? Like this right here. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all peep this out right here.
I know I messed up with that other girl. Should have never let her in our world. And I realized what I did was wrong. But let me explain. Now hold on. There's no excuse for me to cheat. But you gotta know that I'm sorry. And I'm ready to make it up to you. Whatever I gotta do, don't you go.
Yeah, I'm a devil's advocate, Andre. They're gonna have to go to your YouTube page to listen to the rest of that. That way you can get some credits. You know what I mean?
I appreciate it.
What's your YouTube page, man?
A Diamond ENT. Everything is A Diamond ENT.
Ladies and gentlemen, go to that page after this interview, not while the interview's going, because he need the credits here as well. go to A Diamond ENT on YouTube. Y'all look at that video, but we ain't done yet. That we're not done. We're not done. Now, so singing was your first. Could I say your first love as far as the entertainment industry?
Yeah, initially it was singing. It was singing. It switched to when I was very young. It switched to acting when I first started. But I was just always able to act and sing at the same time, so they went hand in hand. But I really enjoyed acting. But yeah, singing was the first.
Now, where did writing come along in your career?
So I started off when I got my first indie deal. Shout out to Easy Deuce Records. When I got my first indie deal, I wanted to make sure that I was able to kind of tell the stories that I wanted to tell through song, and the only way that I could do that was to pick up the pen and start writing. And as I, started with that project, I just started to enjoy writing. So fast forward, once I started to after the label kind of folded, and I went back into doing stage plays, uh, I just I'm like, well, why don't I write this to kind of tell again the stories that I want to tell, and that's where that all came about.
Hmm. Did you go to did you take some type of class courses? Everything just came natural for you.
Yes.
All right. Now going forward, your first stage play. What was that first stage play that you wrote?
So the first stage play that I wrote was it's called Never Too Late. Now that one hasn't come out yet, but that is the first one that I wrote. The first one that I wrote and produced is the number one urban stage play, Man of the House.
That right there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now, all right. Now, the Man of the House. When did you first write this play here?
So I started in probably 2011. I want to say 2011, 2012 is when I decided to write it. And it took 2 years after I wrote it to actually put it up. It was just, me being in my thoughts, knowing that I didn't have the money to get the project up. And then finally, I just listened to God when He said, "Go, I got you."
Now, I'm not sure how it is in upstate, but I know down here plays is an afterthought. We don't see plays in the Charlotte, North Carolina area much anymore. So is play still heavy up north?
Yeah, I mean, I'm right next to New York, so we have Broadway, then off Broadway, so theater is really heavy up here.
No, I mean the Christian plays. Or is that still pretty dominant? It's still circulating real good up that way.
You know, no, not to the level that it was when I first started.
Yeah,
Yeah, not at the level that it was when I first started. No.
because I know in the early 2000s it was saturated with so many writers and directors pushing plays,
Yeah,
and they just died. They,
yeah,
they just went away, and it makes you wonder what happened. What's the deal? And to
yeah.
see you come across with your play, I'm like, maybe this is a comeback.
As long as I'm a part of it, I'll take it.
I heard that. I heard that. And actually, there's several people that I'm affiliated with. They're down in Columbia, South Carolina, and in Gastonia, North Carolina. They're working on some production now as far as doing gospel plays. But how difficult is it to get your play on that circuit to where it's I'm gonna say internationally known, but domestically known, to where you're in Jersey, you're in New York, you're in Philly, you're going down to the DMV. How hard is it for you?
You know what? For an indie producer like myself, the biggest challenge is always going to be the financial part of it. It's just not easy, man, to raise money for this. Like for me, I don't have any backers or any sponsors at the moment. So it's just, a lot of working. I always say like I hustle legally, but I hustle to make these ends meet to be able to put it up. But it really, it's the financial part of it. It's tough. It's difficult. Producing, I would say, out of all of the hats that I'm blessed to be able to wear, producing by far is the most challenging.
If people do want to sponsor your works, can they find it on your webpage or?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So right on my website is adiamondent.com, and right on the front page there's a donate button. Uh, and then there's also an email in case they want to bring the production to. We used it for fundraising purposes. We've used it at colleges and universities for educational programming. So you can reach out to me that way as well. But absolutely, the donate button is on the front page. I don't want people to have to look for it. It is literally right there on the homepage.
Ladies and gentlemen, I was fortunate enough to receive some of his sponsorship package information, and he has three different levels. He has a diamond sponsorship, a platinum sponsorship, and a gold sponsorship. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to go in depth as to what those sponsorships are, but contact them 862-452-9793. Email them adavis at adiamondint.com. Hit them up if you're interested in getting into the entertainment in reference to the plays, and maybe possibly, the play can come to your area. We would love to have plays come back down to the Charlotte area, because once again, no one's doing it. And it's not that, we don't appreciate it. We just wonder where everybody is. So if you can come down this way, hey, anything I can do to help you out, brother, to get down here, just hit me up, and I'm in it. I'm in it. That's one thing we do. I have another entity called Uppoint Entertainment, and we do all types of entertainment, no matter, as long as it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, it's legally, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So we'll be eager to see what we could do to work some type of deal to help get this right here, ladies and gentlemen, to Charlotte. It looks like it's gonna be. Now let me ask you, give a rundown to the let's play this, go back here. Give a rundown as to the artist that's actually in this play.
Yeah, so I mean, we have I've been blessed to work with some really amazing people. So myself, I'm the lead. Monifa, who is an R&B singer, I mean, she's been on R&B Divas television show. She is the female lead. C King is one of the supporting leads. He plays actually my best friend in the production. Very, very funny guy. If you follow him on Instagram, he's known for doing like the Denzel Washington impressions, and just extremely funny. Pretty Ricky was still working out. We had her initially, but she just got picked up to be the opening act for the Cat Williams tour. And so we may lose her for this run, but she's been with me since 2014 as well. Extremely funny and talented actress. And everyone, I always say, like, I've been blessed to work with rock stars, man. Like, they are all super talented. They may just not be a household name yet, but the entire cast is just extremely talented. I couldn't ask for better actors and actresses, honestly.
Now, seeing the title "Man of the House," some people may think that is that a male ego type thing where he's the man of the house and he's controller, he's ruler. Tell the ladies and gentlemen a little bit about what the play is really about.
Yeah, absolutely the opposite of that. So the play tackles domestic abuse, where the man is the victim instead of the abuser. And so Man of the House is actually kind of a play on Man of the House, because in this one, the female, she assumes the man of the house position, and she uses that to her advantage in abusing this man, verbally, emotionally, making him feel like he's not enough because of his current situation and circumstances. So that's Man of the House. The title is actually a play on what you would see in the production, which is the opposite, where the woman she's the abuser.
In given these performances, have you had the feedback where you've actually helped some relationships see that, hey, where they didn't see that they were being verbally abusive to their husbands or significant other, made them actually want to correct themselves? Have you seen that?
You know what? So honestly, the feedback that we get every time after the production from people in the audience is I never looked at it that way. And what they mean is, when the man is the victim and the abuse is not uh, physical, many times you'll overlook it and not think of it as abuse. But if it was switched and it was the man doing this to the female, you absolutely identify it as abuse. So I haven't had anyone specifically tell me that that was their relationship, but I've had people come up to me to say they have a friend in a relationship like this, and it plays out the same way. I do remember specifically one time, actually, in this theater where the clip is running, there was a group that came to see the production, and one of the women in the group was abusive, verbally
Oh,
and emotionally, to her boyfriend. And so
oh,
while the rest of the group were enjoying the play, actually, for a drama comedy, they were laughing. She was very quiet during the production. This is what a friend told me at the end of it, and it's because she saw herself in the lead character.
hmm. Since 2000 and now you said you wrote this in 2011.
Yeah, 2011.
Since 2011, have you had to change the script up any, or you've kept it the same throughout all that time?
No, so you know what? Changed it slightly because as the play grew, I added a couple more characters. Uh, but the dialogue, for the most part, is has been the same since the beginning. We haven't really had to change it too much, and it's just, I mean, it kind of amazes me sometimes that it's just as relevant today as it was back in uh 2014 when we first started it.
Now, this play you've put it on every year or almost every year since 14.
Every year except for the I call it the COVID years.
Mhm.
Every year except for 2020, 2021. 2019 we were building up. 2020 we were supposed to come back, and yeah, then COVID hit.
Now, are you using the same theater, or is it different theaters that you're using when you do put it on every year?
Yeah, different ones. So we've done bunch of theaters in Jersey. This will be in October. We go back to New York City, and this will be our third time in New York. We've also done Philadelphia. We've done Baltimore a couple of times. We've done Atlanta. So it's different theaters. It's not the same one every time.
Mhm. And this play it kicks off
First,
October the 1st through the 30th.
yep, every Saturday and Sunday for the month of October.
Now you picked that month because of why?
Right. So October is National Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And because the play tackles domestic abuse, I decided to put it up during that month and run it the entire month in recognition of the awareness.
When you sat down, Andre, and you was saying, "Hey, I want to write a play. What should I write about?" What made you want to write about domestic abuse in reference to the female doing it towards the male?
Yeah, so when I first sat down to even write this, I was able to perform in a couple of plays that tackled domestic abuse, and it was the same story over and over. So it was the female getting abused by the man, and at the end of the play, she falls in love with the guy next door, and then they run off into the sunset. And so, that was literally every time. So I said, wow, what would that look like from the opposite side? What would that look like if the guy was being abused? And that's literally how I came up with the idea to write this.
How difficult is it for you? Because I'm sitting there as we're looking at that clip, especially this portion right here as it starts off the clip, where you played that role, man. You played that role.
Thank
You
you.
played that role like not that you soft, but uh, you don't hit women. Number one,
Right.
you just a passionate person who absorbs so much.
Right.
How do you, as a director, know as an actor I did what I was supposed to do.
Yeah. So, initially it was funny because even though I wrote it, um, even though I wrote it, I had when it was time to start rehearsing myself before I got with the rest of the cast, uh, I wasn't connecting with the character, even though I wrote it, which was weird to me because you would figure you wrote it, so you know the intention.
Right.
Um, but I literally had to just break myself down, completely take myself out of it, and kind of morph into this character because it was the weirdest thing, man. Like it was almost unbelievable that I'm like, why am I not connecting with this character? But I got it. And so there is a point in the production, my character's journey in the production, if I do it correctly, the audience feels sorry for me in the beginning. Then there's a point where they actually start to get a little fed up with me and a little annoyed at the way that I'm handling the situation. And then at the end of the production, there's a bit of vindication, right? So if I'm doing my job correctly, the audience goes through all of these emotions. Now, how I gauge it, I don't want to give it away, but in the second half of the production, I posed this question, right, to myself. And if the audience responds, then I know I'm doing my job. And there are very little things that are going to be 100% of the time. 100% of the time, the audience has responded, which lets me know, okay, I'm doing my job.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome. Now, are there any co-directors, anyone helping you, while you're on stage, keeping everybody else, in line, intact, or are you doing all that?
doing all that. Yeah, so
Ah,
yeah,
so
we
many
rehearse it.
umbrellas.
Yeah, we rehearse it. And the challenge for me is once we hit the stage to let go of the directing hat. And now it's all about the acting, and we'll pick up any notes, during intermission at the end of the play. But when I'm on stage, I have to let all of that go. Otherwise, I'll sit there and critique the entire show while I'm trying to do it, and then I'm not giving my all to the character. So, we go through the rehearsals. I give notes, critique, and then I have to trust the people that I hired to do the job.
Are you as I listen to you, I can't help but to go and think about a business seminar I went to earlier this morning. And I just wonder, with you handling the writing, the directing, the producing, the production, the marketing, the advertising, how do you handle all that? Or do you have a team helping you with the marketing and advertising of the event itself?
Yeah, I mean, so most of it I do myself, but I mean, even this interview. So shout out to Tangi, my publicist who's helping me out this go around with it. So things like that help. You know what I mean? Anytime I can get an interview to get the word out in any form of fashion, it helps. So I do have some people helping me out with that, but for the most part, it kind of falls in my wheelhouse as well. That's just one of the things you take on as being the producer. Like you have to figure out how to get people in these seats.
And I tilt my hat off to Katangia. She's a marvelous one. I mean, she's remarkable. I'm gonna be honest with you. She's helped Urban Voice Media with plugging of interviews over the past 2 years like none other. So I'm with you 100%. And I wish we had more Tangies out there that can help and, help us who are on the lower level get to that level to where a lot of people know who we are, and that recognition is now internationally known. With that being said, where do you see expansion with your production?
Yeah, so next year the goal is to I want to close the play out with a tour, and I want to combine it to where I am stopping at colleges and universities, using the play as domestic abuse education, and then while we're in those states, to do a show maybe on the weekend that will be open to the general public. So that's the goal for 2023. And then once we close the play out, I already wrote a script for the film. And so we're going to shoot the film early next year. And once the play is closed out, we'll put the film up.
Awesome. Do you have locations already set where you're gonna shoot the film?
So the film will be shot up here. It'll definitely be between Newark and Jersey, New York City area for sure to shoot the film. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Is there a specific reason why you're targeting the universities?
So when we initially mounted the play, right, I just had this idea to do it, in theater. And I started to see the demographic of the people that were coming in. It wasn't just adults, but some were teenagers, some were young adults, and they all received it well. So, I said, for me, when I was in school, the books and everything, you have to have it, right? But alternative ways of learning worked for me. And so we did the first production at the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. And they brought us in. They loved the premise of the production. And they brought us in for educational programming, but using the stage play. And it went so well, man, that I've actually pitched it to other colleges and universities. So we've also done William Patterson here in Jersey. We've done Coppin State down in Maryland a few times. And I've been in touch with a bunch of different colleges and universities, and they're all interested in it. So I want to make that happen for next year.
That's great. That's great. So, so after you wrap that up, then you get started on the film. Have you, after the film, do you see you coming back to the stage, or maybe you might stick into the film era for a moment?
So definitely coming back to theater. I love theater. So I'll definitely be coming back to theater as well and just doing both of them. Man of the House specifically is one that we'll probably put to bed after that tour because we've run it since 2014, done a great job. Not to say that we'll never revisit it again, but I have other stage plays that I want to be able to put up and market and get out there just as well. So.
Mm-hmm. Have you had any other writers or producers that want to collaborate with you to do projects together?
So I've had some producers reach out to me. The offers weren't that great, so I turned them down. Writers, no. You know what? I'm not at the point yet where I think I would bring in other writers if one, I was overwhelmed, or I just felt stagnant with what was coming out. So if I found myself writing the same stories over and over and the dialogue is starting to sound the same, then I know it's time for me to bring in some writers. But I'm not there yet.
And and that could be what have happened with some of the playwrights that were out in the early 2000s. It seemed like a lot of their materials stayed the same.
Mm-hmm.
The stage setup was the same, and like you said, it gets old. You hear the joke once, you're gonna laugh. You hear it twice, you're gonna laugh, but not as long. You hear the third time, you might not even laugh.
Yeah.
So now let me ask you this, because I do know that part where the gentleman, as you say, he does good impersonation of Denzel. Is there a lot of comedy in your play?
There is. It's a lot of comedy, and what's funny is that people, especially domestic abuse advocates, when they hear that, they're automatically taken back. Like, how can anything about domestic abuse be funny? And that was my challenge as the writer, to write a play. And I wrote it specifically for an urban audience. Not that you have to be Black, but you would appreciate it more if you understand the culture. And that was important for me. I just lost my train of thought that fast. Oh man, what was the question? One more time. I'm sorry.
You were speaking in reference to why you. Now you done made me lose my train of thought. This interview over with. We got no more thoughts. But Andre, I wish you the well and success in what you're doing. from the clips that I've seen throughout the years of looking at some of the clips from year to year, it looks like that the production is wonderful. It's something that we need, especially because you don't hear about, as you was stating before we both lost train of thought, you don't hear that much about the woman abusing the male, whether it's physical or mental. And that's something that, is grand that you're standing on it and you letting that be known that it happens. It's there. A lot of times the men won't come and say it.
I got it. We were talking about the comedy in the play.
Mhm. Mhm.
So yeah, domestic abuse advocates, when they hear that there's comedy, they get taken back, and that was my challenge too, because I wanted to make it. I've done a lot of these plays, right, and drama, but you need some comedy for, especially for our folks. One thing that I will credit, although I never went to school, I was for writing. I watched one of my favorite shows coming up was A Different World. And A Different World, they did an amazing job of tackling some very, very intense subjects, making it funny, and the comedy never overlapped or took away from the seriousness of whatever they were discussing. And so, without me not even realizing I was in class, watching A Different World, and I wrote the stage play the same way. So we never make fun of the abuse because it's not funny.
Exactly.
But there's so many things around it that we're able to make people laugh with. It just works. It works. And I have to tip my hat to the writers and the front runners of that show, A Different World, man, because it literally uh, shaped the way that I write today.
And it would be wonderful to bring back or to see a cast like that, storylines like that today,
Yeah,
because that was one great young adult sitcom, man. It was
absolutely.
wonderful. It was
There's
great.
a gap. There's a gap. We're missing that right now. That show was iconic. People say it was ahead of its time. I don't know about ahead of its time. I think it was relevant then, and it would be relevant now.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
yeah, I.
Well, I tell you what, Andre, get on it.
You're right. Right.
Get on it, man. Get
So
on it.
I saw an interview where Debbie Allen actually said she was trying to get it greenlit to come back again. So, if Debbie Allen is doing it, I'm just here to watch it. If I can be a part of it in any way, I would love it. But what she did with that show when she came in as the executive producer, man, was just amazing.
Well, maybe she need writers like yourself to help her get that push to say, hey, it's time to do this thing.
I'm with that. I'm with that
Debbie,
1,000%.
if you know Debbie Allen, ladies and gentlemen, get this interview to Debbie. Let Debbie get a whip of Mr. Davis and some of the production that he does, and maybe Miss Allen will go ahead and pick that bad boy up and get it moving.
Yeah.
But Andre, I'm gonna tell you this right here. You spoke about the comedy, and what we played the clip earlier without the audio. As we end this interview up, I'm gonna play it with the audio so people can get just a little snippet as to what they're in store for if they get the chance to come up to New York to actually witness this through the whole month. What is it? Every weekend?
Yep. Every
Throughout the
Saturday
month
and
of
Sunday.
October?
Yep.
Okay. So, ladies, and where's it going to be at?
At the Soho Playhouse in New York City.
You heard it, ladies and gentlemen. Andre, anytime you want to come back, you got something cooked up, you got something you're working on, you want to come back to the roundtable session, these doors are open for you, brother. Come on back. We'll sit down and we'll chop it up and go over anything that you're going through in reference to your writing, your producing, your acting, your singing. Ladies and gentlemen, before we do that, there's another video I wanted them to see before we kill this interview. Check this out right here. See what he did in this video right here, ladies.
Wondering if you could be my everything. Got this bachelor thinking about rings and only thing.
All right, I stop it. Y'all see how he had her cheesing so hard. She discombobulated in a way. She just biting her nails. She's showing all of the teeth, all the way to the back, to the root of her neck. She can't stop smiling at Andre. You got that gift, bro.
Nah,
You got
thank you, man. Thank you. And I have to shout out, that was Kyria Geneva, the actress in the video. That's my single One For Me that's out right now. My EP will be available very, very soon. Shades of A, we're just about done with it. That video specifically, BET picked it up, MTV picked it up for some light rotation, but rotation is rotation. So I say thank you. And if any of your viewers are in the Atlantic City area on September the 17th, me and my band will be opening up the Cap Jazz Fest at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Atlantic City. And those tickets are on sale right now at capjazzfest.com.
Sounds great. New Year, you doing anything for New Year's?
Not yet. Not yet. You know what? So New Year's is a big date for us. So I turn down a lot of stuff if it's not the right offer.
Right.
Because I would rather party than work for,
Right.
less than what I should be.
Understand that 100%. Well, Andre, like I said, anytime you got something cooked up, man, get ready to put that out on the market. Hit us up. We'll sit down and do that interview with you, man. We're more than happy to help you in reference to getting the listening ears to actually plug in, see what you got going on, and possibly put some tails in those seats to witness, to have fun, to listen, to learn, to apologize to the significant other if they have to right then there in front of thousands of people.
No, thank you. I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Much love to you, brother. But we're gonna play this. We're gonna play this portion right here of Man of the House. Be good. I can't wait to see it myself one day, man.
We're coming. We're coming.
Sounds great. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all check this out right here.
You will do better if you want to stay with me. Okay? How does that sound?
Help me, Lord.
Me. Say something. Okay. Listen, Linda. Linda. Let me explain myself, okay? This is what happened. I was dreaming.
You don't have to do it tonight. You make me go Denzel on him, okay?
Man of the House, written, directed, and produced by Andre Davis, coming soon to a theater near you.